Welcome back to CBSN, Making Your Money Matter. Now it is time to take some questions from our audience. These are questions that were submitted by some young women from the Clover Letter community. And our first question is from Seema. She asked, how does fundraising work and how can you get funds for your startup? Who wants to take that?
Yeah, I mean, you can start just with those, crowdsourced websites, right? Kickstarter, GoFundMe, start there. And then if you really get a business that has some legs, you can obviously do the VC route, right? Where you're writing.
What is that? Tell them what VC
venture
is.
capital, right? So you're writing up a business proposal. So, what is your business? How much money are you going to earn? How much money are you going to earn in 5 years? Who is the customer? What's the market? And then you kind of go around and pitch it to venture capital firms, and they're going to give you money, but they're also going to take an ownership stake in the business. And if you sell the business, they'll get, the bulk of the money, and you'll get some too. But
do you recommend if somebody has a good idea to start a business to do that right out of school, if that's what they want to do?
It's interesting, look, obviously if you have the next Snap or the next Facebook and you really believe in it, then you might want to go for it and test the market and see what happens. It'll, worst case, be a great learning experience. But I think having some sort of experience in the business world, working for someone, learning how to deal with a boss, learning how to deal with all the financial decisions that we've been talking about is valuable. And a lot of times when people start businesses, it's related to the job they worked in, because you'll learn a lot about that business, and then maybe you'll say, oh, I could start my own business and do it even better than the company I'm working for.
Right, that's a good point. All right, Ilari asks, how do you start investing at a young age, Rachel? It's what we talked about a little bit earlier, right? You come out of school and you're fairly young and you want to start investing. What do you do?
You got to start somewhere. So you start, whether it's through the employer-sponsored fund, through a Roth IRA, through just a savings account. A lot of times there's some sort of a minimum investment for some different investments, but it doesn't have to be a lot. I mean, if you're looking at a mutual fund or an ETF, you don't need a large sum of money to really buy in, and you can still achieve diversification, which is important. So just start. And again, if there's something you're passionate about or a company you love, then buy that. I mean.
But what if there's a kid who gets out of school and is doing all the right things? They have a plan, they have a budget, they're putting money into their 401k, but they want to play around in the market just a little bit. How much would you say? $1,000, $2,000? I mean, I know it's dependent on how much they have, but totally somebody who it can be a little bit addictive and it can be like gambling. What's the advice?
Personally, I would say that you want to have enough money first saved before you start playing around. But of course, if there's something that you like, you can dabble in. Just make sure that you don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Okay, all right, good advice. And Lizzie wants to know, Marcus, this is a good question for you. How do you live on a college budget?
I would say to have a budget. When I was in college, I actually didn't have a budget until I was 27. So the absence of a budget is not a budget there. And I think there's so many tools available. I was using Excel spreadsheets, like I said, writing on pen and paper. I think millennials get caught up in making it fancy and making it digital. I still use a whiteboard every day. I wipe it off and I put November at the top and I go 1, 2, 3, and I put what my bills are for that month. It doesn't have to be fancy. But my favorite app right now is still Mint.
Mint?
It's free, so people complain about it. People have this thing about complaining about free things, but it meets my needs.
Who complains about that?
Everyone. It meets my needs, and as was mentioned earlier, a simple pie chart, you can see exactly where your budget is going and see if it aligns with where you think your money should be going. So.
I think it's really important, college budgeting is important, but also being smart with what you're studying, knowing what kind of salary you can be making. Right. And there are a ton of fees. If you work with your bursar's office, there are fees that are, negotiable, right? So you can say, I actually don't need health insurance because I have my dad's health insurance. I don't need the gym because this is what I do on the side to work out. So there are things that you can do to be smart with your money when you're in college. Maybe it's living off campus and, not having a meal plan and things like that can really save and set you up to make, smarter decisions right out the gate and have that plan to pay back your student loans and just, be debt-free as soon as possible.
It's a lot of budgeting is 80% mental. So I think what will be the greatest benefit, and I think we're seeing thematically here, is establishing those healthy, positive spending habits in college. It will benefit you for the rest of your life.
And that is a good place to leave it, Marcus. Thank you very much. That will do it for us. I want to thank our panelists, Marcus, Jeannie, Scott, and Rachel, for your insight. It was really, really interesting, really illuminating for our audience. And to our viewers at home and to you in the audience, you can visit cbsmoneywatch.com for more personal finance advice. I'm Vladimir Zutir. Have a good night.